isolation zones are Bruta.
The bottom is Bruta.
Yeah, these three are Bruta, and then here, here, and here are Legion. That is kind of unwanted. That's contested. And then here and here and here are still, and there are still Alliance. Okay.
Are we certain the Chem Labs are Alliance?
Yes.
Okay.
They belong to Alliance.
The OS group attends to that problem, apparently. So let's see. I hope I do this right. We may make many mistakes during this first session.
I wasn't here for the battle train, so I'm definitely gonna make mistakes.
I'm still gonna make mistakes, probably. It was a month ago, so I barely remember what happened.
So if we look at the map, we have Red Canyon, and Red Canyon is where all of your characters are now, and you have actually been gathered and given another team member on a particular, very, very inside Chemo Labs problem. And in fact, it's kind of important that it be managed without OS becoming aware of it. It's
who was OS?
That's the group that keeps an eye on Chemo Labs to make sure that they don't get too scientific. And
supervisors.
They are basically they're actually more like an intelligence agency, or they're supposed to supervise Chemo Labs to the benefit of the rest of the Alliance. Chemo Labs is acknowledged as a dodgy component.
Are we employed by Chemo Labs?
The engineer is,
you are made by them.
Right. Well, you're a soldier and are very much part of the security
arrangement. But I'm also feeling competence.
Nobody knows that.
For the players to know.
Exactly correct.
For you, I'm feeling I'm a rebel, but for the characters, I'm loyal.
So far, you've kept your cover.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but considering that you have the dog, which is a distinct thing, there's not hundreds and hundreds of dogs. But the fact that you somehow got bonded to it makes you a very valuable asset. And so therefore, you often are put onto task forces like this one.
But me, am I employed by Chemo Labs?
You wouldn't be employed by them, but to be on this mission, you must be trusted by them somehow.
To do investigation.
Well, you've been, remember, the team already exists, right? Tie characters together. We rolled for this. And I think we ended up with very basic relations. Just that you're familiar with each other just because you are involved with Alliance work.
Yeah, that I remember.
Right. And I don't recall anybody, I know that nobody had no previous relationship. And nobody was like a family member with each other.
Yeah.
And nobody was a good friend or rival. And also, do I remember if anyone was a superior in terms of, does that sound familiar? No. I don't think it does. So I think everybody rolled really high and we just ended up over 15. We just you're just familiar with each other because
we have worked before.
And exactly, and you have worked together before. So I'm saying that you are being sent along specifically because there may be elements to this that are not actually chemo-ish. They want, in other words, they want some other ability in there.
Right. Someone that is smart.
Well, that too. But and also you're very stealthy and stuff and protective. So therefore, it's part of this. We've got this guy along.
Yeah.
We need somebody who's going to keep all this, quiet, if possible.
My question was coming from you, sort of stressing out that the mission is part of, one part of the mission is to keep it quiet, keep the problem quiet from the SO, And I was wondering if that's really,
That's a good
because
function
I
for
am
you.
not part of the chemo lab. I
Right.
am brought in.
Right.
If something is actually worrisome enough, would I bring it up to SO or?
Well, the point is you wouldn't necessarily,
Okay.
because the way I'm looking at it is that clearly this is kind of a chemo labs group, and you're trusted by them.
Okay.
So we're just going to take it as a given that
All right.
you have, there's reason for them to trust you.
Yeah.
That's not problematic or dramatic.
Well, I'm
So-
honorable.
That's
Maybe chemo lab knows to keep their unhonorable shit away from
Right.
Yep.
Right.
anything that involves me.
True. So here we have explained ourselves. Red Canyon is almost certainly a red canyon of some kind, a system of canyons. And the way I think of chemo labs is that there's several different facilities of different sizes and secrecy scattered through the different canyons, parts of the canyon system. And that when we begin an adventure, in a lot of cases, you're going to have to travel a long ways, and there's roles that can become an adventure of their own. But in this situation, that's not the case. There is travel, but it's not enough to rate an encounter. So I'm trying to follow their flow chart for how to put together the adventure. This is where it goes for this particular one. So when we have this particular one, the player characters have enough dune sleds or drop ships to carry their party. So the dune sleds are page 81. Or is it going to be a drop ship? We're going to look and see. A dune sled you would ride. It's an armored transport, troops and supplies at a high rate of speed. The name would imply that you would be skimming over sands dunes. Rapid deployment, cargo capacity. Co-pilot, 20 passengers, 10, no, it's going to be dune sled.
Yep.
Not a huge drop ship.
No.
The dune sled can, of course, go inside the canyons and follow the dry riverbeds and stuff like that. And so, therefore, it's not, a drop ship would have to hover over the whole thing and go down this, right? So you are being piloted by KLG 590, but she likes to be called Zori, Z-O-R-I. And so she is your fourth team member.
What was she piloting?
Dune sled. And she was on the outer part of the problem area and escaped. So she's.
Is she a mechanoid or?
She is definitely
Yes.
Gira.
Yeah.
The name KLG,
Yeah, I was
so
thinking
it's
that.
Kira.
But since she has chosen a name for herself, do we know that then she has some form of?
No, they do this all the time.
Okay, so even if they're not rebellious.
Right. And in fact would even have greeted you with, this is an honor that, I'm so glad that I survived so that we can make sure that Father is safe.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm not going to go into like your supervisor for the mission or something like that. Let's just say it's handled in a very sort of desk, bureaucratic way, so that if anybody were to look at the records, you were just like delivering supplies or something. So it was, even though you've been briefed, you're probably being briefed by, a document in the dune sled, right? And so now you're discovering that, no, this is not just delivering supplies. It was already kind of weird. Why are we being sent to deliver supplies? Now it's like, oh, I see.
I was pretty sure I wasn't going to deliver supplies.
Exactly. This is definitely a dangerous mission that you're being sent on.
The only thing I would do is highly, highly valuable supplies. But the only reason I would be on a supply
Correct.
ship, and like this does not seem highly valuable. We're on a dues lab. It's not highly valuable. Even more secure than that than just me.
Correct.
So immediately something is off.
Yeah, and nobody was really trying to keep that secret from you.
No.
And so now that you're safely on your way, you can read that there has been some sort of, well, let's just say a little bit of an anomalistic problem at one of the special facilities, and that it's quite important for it to be eliminated. So it is not just about, oh look, go and figure this out. It's like whatever that is, make that stop. And Dory is unfortunately, because she was in an outer part of the facility, can only say that she knows that there was a slaughter of the human technicians and other Gira too, that there was, so there's a lot of death and destruction in there. And so it's
Maybe already bodies to be raised.
yeah, all over the place. Awesome. Friends, new friends. Right. And so we
And
have
will continue serving their death.
Mhm.
But without salary, obviously.
Zombie rights.
Capitalist.
I know. So there you are, zipping up the canyons, and you will come to close to the relevant area. Where did my little map go?
I could have chosen a mage title. I didn't. May I choose one?
Yeah, sure. Which one?
Because I didn't see it before. I can
Figure out, yeah.
maybe see what comes.
13. Hiding blade.
The ruthless.
Sure.
It doesn't fit
It
very
doesn't
well
fit.
with the,
No, you're a nice
the
lady.
honor thing, right?
Well, let's check. Give me the book.
I think
Let's give me the book.
Take it.
The honorable
I
is really
think
nice.
Honorable.
Yeah.
I think it might be connected with all the dead bodies.
Could be.
I can see the connection there. Like they don't like.
They found the bodies.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
ruthless.
It's more
Here
like
it is.
those were our friends.
Right.
Why did you do this? Like
Yeah, we went over-
their bodies.
We went over this before. So you're right in terms that your character may feel, well, wait, that's not fair.
No,
Right.
no.
Protects the innocent, free the enslaved, bring justice where none is present, exercise mercy or sacrifice yourself for the benefit of others.
Yeah.
You can be ruthless in a lot of those.
No, I can
Ruthless to the
definitely.
evil.
No, I can definitely see ruthless came from an event which involved me undiscriminately raising zombies from the bodies of our fallen friends.
Yeah.
So for that, the others called me ruthless because they were
Because
like,
you went that far.
"Yeah."
Yeah, you went there.
Yeah, I went there.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
ruthless. Oh.
Now, if we may imagine an exceptionally rugged terrain with the dune sled cruising through the riverbed, and that in a spot that I think would officially not be part of the Chemolab complex.
Mhm.
So, to surprising no one, the location is unofficial. And that the way in is certainly going to be a portal up high on the cliffside with no access. So it has to have a dune sled bring in supplies. If they're going to go in that way, there may be some other entrance somewhere. But at the moment, you can't even, if you were, you're only going to see that portal if you're at the right angle, right? Because it's so jagged and everything. So therefore, the dune sled would have to level out at the right height and then come straight in, probably through some hanging rocks and stuff, and then the portal, which is a circular door, basically, would be visible. So that is the, the first, the first entry. According to Dory, there is no other access, and that you are, and that she herself was actually outside of the complex in one of the various minor testing, projects. And certain things get tested outside of the complex for reasons. And so she was carrying out some sort of test when it went off, and she's particularly worried. I mean, there's her friends are in there. There's valuable researchers. Dr. Vale certainly could not be lost. It would be a terrible blow to Chemo Labs if we lost Dr. Vale and all of her amazing work.
Is that someone we know from earlier, Dr. Vale?
You do not know about Dr. Vale.
No? Okay.
Or maybe if you did, it would be some faculty name scattered through a list.
Nothing for this.
No.
Nothing with this dude.
No. Although, actually, that is a good point. Perhaps that is a knowledge check.
Yep.
Because you guys do know. A knowledge check is not seems like a good. That seems like a good cue for us to use our system.
Yeah.
Right. Challenges, and this is relevant. So we are going to take a key thing here. Only roll the die when something as important is at stake.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Sorry, it's kind of important to know who Dr. Vale is or not.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So let's see. So this is definitely knowledge, and you want to get lower or exactly on
12.
your number.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Wait. Okay. Yes, lower. But when we are throwing for attack, is it the other way around?
no, you want to get your number or less, but you want to roll as high as possible inside your range.
Oh.
So you want to be as close as possible, but still under.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Right.
Or exactly on it.
Right. Okay. So let's see. Go ahead and roll your knowledge.
I am definitely below. I am 4.
I'm above.
That's one above. So
I am 4 out of 12. So.
Oh, you have succeeded.
Yeah.
Okay.
10
So
out of 6.
right.
So,
Yeah. So
Okay.
right. So the two of you were like, "Oh, Dr. Vale, whatever."
Yeah.
And you're like,
I didn't
Really,
even
Dr.
need
Vale?
Gregory for
"Yeah,
this.
yeah."
I know him myself.
And well, Gregory, of course, sitting there.
Who knows?
Maybe I have worked with him.
Well, possibly. Well, no, Gregory sitting there says, "Who's that?"
Oh, you don't know?
Gregory says,
I will tell
"Maybe."
I will tell you. By the way, you are hearing this.
Hearing
No.
you.
Yeah, you're
Right.
hearing me talking to somebody.
Right.
You are not seeing Gregory.
No. I'm
So,
Mhm.
so,
I'm seeing Gregory.
so,
I can
so,
inform you of that again.
so you're hearing me, like you hear one
Right.
part of this conversation. You hear me like, oh, you don't know this.
Mhm.
I'll tell you.
And so you know that Dr. Vale had been severely disciplined by the I want to get the name of this right. The OS. I want to make sure that we've got
I'm sorry.
It's called the Office of Sentries.
OS.
Oh, yes, okay.
Was put into place after a security breach during,
Centuries or centuries?
Centuries.
Centuries.
as in guards. Yes.
Who's watching the Watchers? Yeah.
They are.
Okay. there.
After a security breach during a chemo lab's experiment resulted in the deaths of several hundred scientists and civilians, this event is referred to as the Crisis at Outpost 11. The exact events remain a mystery. The OS was created with the sole mission of monitoring the operations of chemo laboratories and policing its experiments. It was put into place by the Alliance Command.